think I remember all of them, but thank you. But my meeting with former President Mbeki stems from an invitation when we met in Windhoek, I believe it was 2 weeks ago. He wanted to know what it is that was happening in the Congo, so he invited me, and that's why I came to see him. 2 or 3 of the questions, I'm not the spokesman of the M23, so why did they not go to a meeting or not? I'm not very conversant with that. They definitely have their reasons, and you might have other channels to ask them that. But what was the third question?
The third one was, what do you believe the consequences of semi-DRC withdrawing from the Eastern DRC are going to be, given how fragile the situation remains, and the people who are supposed to be sitting around the table are not coming to the party?
Well, I haven't been following very closely the situation or the deployment, and of course the announcement of the withdrawal of some forces in the DRC. But our take has always been, and this is what I said a couple of weeks ago, that considering the situation, the solution that we adopted way back in 2002, 2003, because back then we also had close to the same kind of situation, where you have a multitude of armed forces, various armed groups. Today what is new is that you now have mercenaries who've been employed by the government forces. Our attitude back then was to ask each and everyone to leave. Each and every force was to leave, and that's exactly what happened. And that's what I believe directly or indirectly facilitated the peace process that started immediately after. But is it the same solution that we can apply to the current situation? I believe part of it, yes, can apply the same solution. But considering that the problem is much more deeper than what everybody thinks it is, you have to go into the internal dynamics of what's happening in the Congo, and definitely leave out this blame game of thinking that everything else that's happening is as a result of someone else. At one given point in time, we have to ask ourselves, is it not us, the problem, or our problem, and how do we solve it as Congolese? So what are the consequences of some DRC pulling out? Well, I don't see any major disturbances in as far as the withdrawal is concerned, because these are forces, as far as I know, that were deployed in a given area, which is areas around Goma. Any implications further than that, well, probably time will tell.
Mr. Former President, thank you for making time for us. My name is Moluko from ENCA. I just want to understand, considering the fact that early this month you called a meeting with the opposition leaders in the DRC and civil society. How do you, or maybe what were the solutions proposed by that particular meeting in terms of resolving the crisis there? But also, do you by any chance personally have intentions of returning as president of the DRC, given the crisis there?
The meeting that was called had its roots in one analysis that we made, we analyzed the situation and came to the conclusion that everybody else is talking about the Congo except the Congolese. You go to Nairobi, everyone is talking about the Congo. You come to South Africa, well, I can see the interest. Everyone wants to know what's happening in the Congo. But the Congolese themselves seem to be ignored. So the objective was, let's get together, civil society, opposition, and anybody else who's interested in our country, church leaders also, so that we can iron out and especially try to analyze the situation. What is the role of each and every player in what's going on in the Congo? What's the role of the government and civil society and of course the opposition? Well, the second question, meaning am I ready? No, listen. We are ready to work, honestly work for peace, actively work for peace, and that was our attitude 22 years ago when we came to Sun City and signed the agreement. Our attitude today, being much more informed, is definitely to stand up again and be on the move, work for peace in any capacity that we can.
Mr. President, the role of the region and neighboring countries and the international community, what could be the role of other stakeholders outside the DRC in assisting the DRC again to have a peace process, as we see that Rwanda talks are very shaky. It looks like it's a stop and go. What must happen? What can lead to the lasting solution for the DRC?
In 2018, I participated in one of the last meetings, I believe, of the SADC, my last meeting as sitting head of state. And I told the leaders back then that I was happy, I was living, but that the Congo was no longer the old man of the region. Old man meaning the weakling of the region, SADC region and the region of the Great Lakes. That was my belief in a strong Congo, a Congo that was on track. But yes, 6 years later, we're almost close to square one, the point of departure. Now, what can all these other countries do? I believe it should not be a cyclic thing where 5 years down the road you have peace, 10, 15 years later you have war. No, the Congolese people don't want that. I believe we have to go back to the basics. For close to 16, 17 years, the Congo was stable. Not 100% stable, but stable enough for it to move forward in as far as economic development and other areas were concerned. So what do? I believe we have to go back to the basics. The basics meaning that we have to ask ourselves the question, where have we gone wrong? And I believe where we've gone wrong is that a number of mistakes have been made in as far as respect of rule of law, the constitution, governance, and all those. We have